What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another car review, alright? So I don't know if you guys can remember, for my old viewers, I mentioned once in one of my videos that I was going to do a review on a Suzuki Swiftsport Turbo. Alright, 3 years later, the car is finally done. Alright, so this car is owned by a very good friend of mine. He's been owning this car for about close to 10 years. So I've seen this car from stock all the way till today, alright? So you know, we've been waiting a long time to review this car because my previous Swift video, a lot of you guys liked it. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at the turbo one as well lah. So this is a ZC31 Suzuki Swiftsport. Alright, a little bit of backstory first. This is actually not an original Swiftsport. This car has been converted from a 1.5 standard automatic Swift into a Swiftsport. Alright, so full conversion, inside, out, body parts, everything from a genuine Swiftsport lah, right? In the front, we have a Swiftsport front bumper, Sunline Racing front lip, as well as Sunline Racing carbon fiber canards. Alright, for the fog lamps, these are actually Japanese fog lamps. They are called IPF, alright, so IPF rainbow fog lamps. These are still halogen fog lamps, not the LED ones like the modern day fog lamps, you know. The headlamp is from Suzuki as well. It's called Mega Option. So Mega Option, right, is like Honda Access, but for Suzuki, you know. So it's got the xenon projectors, the smoke housing. So these are pretty expensive nowadays, maybe about 1,500, 1,600 ringgit, right? The hood, Sunline Racing carbon fiber hood as well. So the front end is all Sunline Racing lah, right? Moving to the side, we've got the Enkai RPF ones. Alright, so these are 17-inch, not too sure the width, I think they're 8, if I'm not wrong, 8J. Running a set of Michelin PS5 tires lah, 215, 45, 17, alright? So for you guys that do not know, the Swiftsport came with a 5-lug pattern, the regular one 4-lug only, so that had to be converted as well lah. Right, for suspension, this car is running a set of BC Racing BR coilovers, so the higher end ones. Side skirt, Sunline Racing. The rear, same, but disc brake. Okay, the standard Swiftsport doesn't have a disc brake, so the whole rear axle has been converted over from the Swiftsport to this non-Swift lah. Alright, the rear as well, your standard Swiftsport, you know, Swiftsport rear bumper with the dual exit exhaust. But obviously, if you guys can see, there's only one lah. So this one, there's nothing there. So just a whole Swiftsport tail lamps, as well as the trunk lah. But the trunk is the same, alright. The only thing that's different is the JDM glass. So this is a black glass, colored glass, alright. That is very popular in Japan lah. But to me, the rear is a bit naked because it hasn't got a wing. So the front is all aggressive, the side is all aggressive, but the rear is still very naked. But it's okay. A wing is coming soon. I'm not sure when lah, but soon. Alright, now we go over to that side. We go and check out the interior of this car. Okay. So the interior has been converted as well to a Swiftsport, because when you do the full conversion, you got to convert the gauge cluster, the wiring and everything, like, as well as this digital aircon panel, right? But aside from that, it's quite your standard Swift lah. The seats are aftermarket as well. These are the Mega Option Recaro Alcantara Swiftsport seats. Alright, Monster Sport pedals as well as a fourth pedal, which is a footrest lah. So these are pretty pricey as well. Personal Neo Grinta steering wheel, and if I'm not wrong, Monster Sport shift knob lah. But that's about it for the interior. You know, the only difference are the small things are the gauge cluster, which goes up to 220, and as well as the digital climate control. This is aftermarket, obviously. This doesn't come stock. Don't know what this is. Swiftsport. So it's supposed to be Swiftsport, Swiftsport. It's kind of a joke kind of thing, but you know, owner got some sense of humor lah. Some. Alright, but the best part about this car is under the hood, which we are going to go check out right now. Okay, so under the hood is where this car really shines lah, right? So, like I mentioned, converted to a Swiftsport. So the regular Swift comes with a 1.5 M15A regular engine lah, right? The Swiftsport on the other hand comes with an M16A 1.6 litre 4-cylinder NA that makes about 125 horsepower and about 150 Newton meters of torque lah. Alright, but this car, as you guys can see, based on how it looks, it is not stock. Alright, this car has been fitted with an aftermarket turbo kit. Alright, so custom made turbo kit. It is running a twin scroll turbo, so the TD04HL from a Subaru. You guys can't really see, but it's somewhere down there. And it is also running dual wastegates. Why? Okay, why he chose to run the twin scroll turbo? Like modern day BMWs, alright. So this is your exhaust manifold. So your twin scroll, meaning to say the first part will power these two cylinders, and the second scroll will power these two cylinders, which makes it for more responsive engine, right? More responsive. Peak boost is peak boost is a lot lower. So this car, stock internals makes 180 wheel horsepower and about 220 plus Newton meters of torque to the wheels on 0.6 plus bar of boost, which is not bad. Alright, so stock internals, everything here is all just a bolt-on, custom-made, bolt-on affair lah. Alright, you can see the front mount intercooler. So from far, you can tell that this Swift is not stock. Alright, I've driven it a couple of times already, and it is a very fun car to drive. Okay, so after this, we're gonna hop in. It's raining a bit. I don't know why. Every time we review a Swift, it ends up raining lah, but we're gonna have some fun. Alright, so let's go. So we are going to bring this car for a ride. As you guys can see, it is raining again. But what to do, it's been raining every day for the past 2 weeks. Right, it's a bit wet, but we're going to do a first gear pull out the toll. This is always the best part, right? Hey, this car has got a Ogura clutch as well. Let's go, first gear. No wheel spin. 100. So first impressions, the power is actually, I wouldn't say it's very fast, but it is fun. It is very fun power. 180 wheel horsepower in a small car, pretty lightweight car. Honestly, you can have a lot of fun even for beginner drivers. You know, it is still very nice. Alright, and the Swiftsport, you know, the ratio is quite a close ratio gearbox. Like, if I'm not wrong, it's a 4.3 final drive, if I'm not wrong. You know, for those of you guys that know the exact detail, comment down below lah, because I already forgot. The last Swiftsport I drove was 3 years ago lah, and I actually really like Swifts because of the chassis. The chassis, even the M16A NA drives very well. You put a turbo on it, it comes even more alive. Alright, cruising RPM at 100 is about 3,100. Alright, so this is in 5th gear. We're not going to drop gear, alright. 100, 3,000 RPM, we're just going to give it a bit more throttle. Boost ready, boost is in ready. You see? It just goes. You see? This is not even full throttle. 140 just like that. Easy. Good for highway cruising. Alright, we are on a very bumpy highway. This car is running a set of BR coilovers like I mentioned earlier. They are a little bit bumpy, but then again, the BRs, you know, they are more of a sporty ride lah. So good for track as well. You know, it's a mid-range coilover, and you know, I really like the way this car feels like, you know, right off the bat. There's only one thing I would really complain about these Recaros, because they are an OEM option. You sit very high. I'm literally looking eye level right about there. Alright, so if it was me, I'd definitely put in a full bucket. Knowing me, you know, gotta go for full bucket. But if you want to retain the OEM look, get some custom rails, it will be just nice. Alright, it's drying up a little bit. Let's go to 4th. Let's go to 4th. Alright, 4th gear, 4,000. Half throttle lah. Full boost ready. We shift 5,005. Effortless. So nice, so nice. And the noises that it makes, like, it's got dual wastegates, original tile 38mm wastegates, as well as a blow-off valve. So you hear everything. The wastegate is not that loud, but the blow-off is loud. You see? Oh man, even if you're not going that fast, you feel like you are going fast because of all the noises that it makes. Alright, so this car is running a full straight pipe all the way to the back, no muffler, one resonator, right, if I'm not wrong, one resonator, no muffler, turbo down. It's not loud because turbo cars tend to be a little bit more quiet if you're talking about compared to NA, right? So because it's a turbo, it's not that loud and it sounds good. It doesn't sound like a truck. Okay, we got a nice set of corners over here, so we're gonna test this car a little bit. Okay, we're not gonna drive too fast because it's damp, alright. But the Michelin's in wet really gives you confidence This car hasn't got LSD so you know you gotta be a bit more careful when you're powering out of corners because it will push. Now when you straighten it up, you can floor it, no problem. This fourth gear. Very bumpy, this highway is very bumpy. Okay, let's go a bit third gear action. Ooh, you can feel the rear coming out just a little bit. But Swifts are like that. The previous NA one I drove on Uluyam, also the same. Now see, you can feel the rear moving a little bit on uneven roads. So this car has got a rear Cusco bar as well, rear anti-roll bar, but aside from that, nothing much. The bushings are all stock, only coilovers, what do you call that, good set of tyres. Brakes are also stock, but from what I can tell, quite sufficient, right? But somehow or rather, right, this car being such an old car, so this is, I would say, the first gen of modern day Swiftsport We don't talk about the first gen Swift, we don't talk about the Cultus. This is actually the first gen modern day Swiftsport, and you know, for a car that is what, 15 years old, 16 years old, the chassis still feels very, very solid. You know, because this is comparing to the equivalent generation of the Honda Jazz, the GD, as well as a left field choice which I have already driven, the Colt Ralliart version R. I would say the Swift chassis is more superior. Even we compare, you know, engine to engine, the M16A is like a small, I would say like a mini B series. Alright, it revs happily, decently high RPM, it makes all the nice noises. Obviously it's not as powerful right? But with the short ratio gearbox, you can really have a lot of fun. Clutch, it's not bad. This is a Ogura super single clutch, but honestly, feels like an OEM clutch. Alright, okay, another toll, but we're not going to do full throttle, we're just going to give it like, you know, 4000 RPM kind of shifts. After 3.5 is where the boost really comes in. That's where you can really feel the surge of power, because also one thing I forgot to mention, okay, this car is tuned via a uni-chip piggyback ECU, and it has got boost by TPS, alright, TPS and boost by gear. So the first, second gear, it wouldn't give you full boost. Second gear onwards, that's when you get full boost Why? It's because on roads like this, you can't use it, you know, if it's a little bit more damp, it will start wheel spinning. Alright, so that limits the boost, you know, gives you a better drive as well as you know, exiting corners. Alright. So back to the whole question of if I want to convert my regular Swift to a Swiftsport. Alright, so it is quite a plug and play affair You just have to buy a half cut from Japan. You know, a lot of workshops in Malaysia are actually doing these conversions. They are very popular. They have been popular for many years because of the price. It is very affordable. Alright, so I think right now, back then probably 6 grand. Now maybe we're looking at about 7 grand, 8 grand. Everything you know, we're talking about engine, gearbox, disc brakes, 5-lug conversion. So basically you get a Swiftsport. Right. We got a small tunnel. Not really a tunnel but enclosed. Oh, the car is quite stiff over these rumble strips. Okay, let's go. Oh, that's not having fun. don't know if that's really a thing, but mid-speed roads, alright, like I don't know, your small tollgate roads or something like that, because usable power, you can use all of the power, alright. You get something that's too much power, especially in a car like this, you get a lot of wheel spin. You got no LSD, you can't exit the corner fast enough. So I think 180 right now, just nice, just nice. Okay lah, to be honest, you can't even push this engine a lot more already because it is still running the stock internals. Alright, before this, it was also turbo. The 1.5 M15A was also turbo with an automatic gearbox, alright. So that made about 160 as well, but it was running a an RHF 5 turbo, so very, very laggy. 4,500 RPM only you hit full boost. By 6,500 you got a shift already, but it was fast. It was fast, but automatic, not so fun. Surprisingly, the engine lasted quite a long time because we did multiple drag races in this car back then, alright, with the 1.5 engine, and it didn't blow up. So that's something that I'm very impressed lah. You know. But overall, you know, if you guys are thinking about getting a fun car, you know, without breaking the bank, right? Hondas are getting so expensive right now. You can pick up a 1.5 one for what? As cheap as 12 grand, as low as 12 grand. Swiftsports are going for about close to double. So it's your choice lah. You want to buy a regular one and convert it to a Swiftsport. You know, you're probably end up about the same. Depends lah. But there's only one problem lah. Not one problem, one downside to this first gen M16 engine is that it only takes minimum RAW 97. Right? In fact, the Japanese recommend minimum RAW 98. But in Malaysia, we got no 98. We got 97, we got 100. 100 is so expensive. 97 is not cheap as well. So that's one thing you guys got to keep in mind if you guys want to convert your M15A to an M16A or get the Swiftsport lah. Right, the second generation onwards, you can take 95 as well as the third generation. So that's a little bit more economical. But yeah, I think this car is good size lah. You know, good size, decent power. There are many kits for this car as well. You can go supercharger, you can go turbo. You know, Monster makes a turbo kit, G-Ready makes a turbo kit. This is obviously custom lah. I would say one of the first twin scroll bolt-on turbo Swift in Malaysia. Not the first, one of the first. Alright. So very nice, you know, very enjoyable to drive. Overall, a very fun car lah. I always enjoy myself lah when I drive Swifts, but an NA one, you can really push it harder because you don't have to worry about the torque coming in. When you exit the corner, you can just floor it wherever you go lah. Alright, if this car had a 6th gear, I think it would be better on highway cruising because of the cruising RPM lah. Alright, so we hit some traffic again because it is 5, it's after work lah. So bad timing. But yeah, overall I think that should be it lah. Nothing too much on this car, you know, just a nice fun car that you can have or you can build for a decent budget, right? If you guys want to go higher power, 200, 220, highly recommended, get the engine built, forged internals, alright, lower compression pistons, forged pistons as well as forged con rods, because if you want to put a lot of power onto this stock engine, you are playing with a time bomb lah. So it might blow up anytime. So this car based on the tuner, so it's tuned in Malaysia, obviously by GT Auto. He said that this built this amount of power, it is as safe as it gets already. Alright, but of course you have to do your regular maintenance lah. You know, you don't floor it everywhere you go, because at the end of the day, it's not a turbo car from the factory, not like your Civic FC or your Golf GTI or whatever, you know. So it is still an aftermarket turbo kit. It wasn't meant to be turbo from the factory, so you still gotta take care of it lah. Like I always say, you know, regular maintenance is always the key one. Some people, like this car was actually turbo for almost its whole life, and the first turbo kit was done pretty badly. I'm not gonna say who, but it was done pretty badly, and yet it still didn't blow up. So quite impressive, right? Overall, Swiftsport, same old, you know, good chassis, even better power with a turbo, nice 5-speed gearbox, very nice size, you know, you can chuck it around. nothing much lah, you know, not really much downsides to it aside from the fact that the interior looks a bit aged because it is very old, right? But then again, nothing, you know, nothing you cannot look past. Like, you know, you can retrofit a 10-inch tablet to it, you know, you can just give it your touch lah. Alright, so as usual lah guys, if you guys like this video, you know, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You know, we might review another Swiftsport down the line, ZC32S, you know, right? That is a full monster car, as well as maybe we got a ZC33S coming up as well lah. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. You know, as usual, like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Oh, look at that. Before we go, it's a Carmen gear. Okay, see you guys in the next one.